Okay, so Jonathan, you know that I've been having my mobility issues, but I'm starting to get improved mobility and dexterity. So I am starting to go to a gym. What kind of exercise actually works when you're a carnivore and on a GLP-1?
So both kind of exercises would work. I mean, that's regardless of if you're using free weights, body weight, calisthenics, bands, resistance machines, plate loaded equipment. I think people get married to the idea of using very specific apparatuses in the gym because it looks good in a video, because it is what everyone else does. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best piece of equipment. Now, one example of this is I often see women in the gym, they'll use a single leg kickback, and they'll use a cable with it. So basically they've got a strap around the ankle, and they'll have a weight attached to it on a resistance cable. Then all they do is kick back like a donkey. And I think it's one of the most time inefficient and useless exercises known to man. And the reason why is because you're finding, well, one, you're on one leg, so you're not braced, you're not stable. So someone that is overweight is going to struggle to use an exercise like that because it involves a very high level of proprioception and balance, stability. And it could cause an injury if they fall over. They might not be as agile as someone that's 20 years old and 10 stone or less. The other thing is, outside of the lack of bracing, is the fact that there isn't a direct force or a angle of movement which activates the muscle fiber of the glutes, the bum muscles, all the way through. So it's not anatomically sensible. But we can be sure, as if you're doing a body weight squat and you're just going down as low as you can go, then standing back up again. That's worked the whole of the glute because you've worked it throughout the whole of the motion in a way that your body's been structurally designed anatomically from a muscular standpoint to resist using the most efficient manner. So it means your muscle fibers are going to activate the most using a movement which is more functional. Now, functional movements is a bit of can be a misnomer, and you might see people in the gym sometimes with the personal trainers, and they'll have their client, it might be 45-year-old Linda, she's 18 stone, wants to drop 3 stone to get fitter and walk the dog more and play with the children, I don't know. And they'll have her standing on like a half yoga ball, it's called a Bosu ball. Then they'll be having her doing single arm curls with shoulder press and this, that and the other on either side. And I think there's nothing functional about that. When in your life you're going to be standing on half a yoga ball, doing shoulder presses whilst bicep curling at the same time, you're not going to do it, and it's a waste of time. So you're better off using movements which work the whole of the body symmetrically, ideally. Then you can sort of add to it over time. So I like people to set themselves up with a program that prioritizes the weakest body parts that they want to develop the most first, then use their strongest body parts last. So if a person has, for example, really strong arms, they don't need to worry about doing that first. They need to apply more effort, more intensity, more skill, more execution by doing it first in the workout for their less strong body parts. So if they want to develop their glutes or their thighs, they're best off doing a leg pressing or a squatting movement first, then doing the arm movements last. It's order of priority. It's exercise specificity 101, I guess. So what I might suggest someone does is starts off with body weight movements and maybe do that on a pad or somewhere where if you fall for some reason, at least then you're safe, and focus on big main compound movements. So that might mean you might be doing something like a row, maybe with a dumbbell. So use 2 dumbbells each side and just pull it towards your body. I'll actually below this video I'll actually tag in my YouTube exercise playlist video. It's a whole playlist of different videos where I show you how to do different equipment in the gym with narration and things like that. So you want a pulling movement, you want a leg pressing or a squatting movement, you want some kind of hip hinge, so that means like a deadlift or maybe a glute drive or hip thrust sort of thing. You want an ab movement, ideally using a lower back movement, but it depends on your mobility. You want a shoulder press movement and maybe a chest press movement and some sort of pull up or pull down movement. And that's going to work the whole of the body. And I think most people can probably get 80% of the results that they'd ever want from training with about 5 carefully selected exercises that work the whole of the body. All the extra stuff is useful, but it's more something which you can try and attack down the line. Now, I mean, we can think of is, say you've got 50% of the muscle in your body, in your upper body. You're probably going to devote about 50% of your time to that, and 50% of your time to your lower body. Obviously, it depends how dominant each side of your body is, because some people have great legs but weak upper body, so they might do 60-40, for example. But let's say now you're doing 3 sessions per week in the gym using a body weight movements or barbells or resistance machines. You might actually tackle it by having 2 sets per exercise, and you might choose 5 exercises. So that leaves you with 10 total sets 3 times per week. And I'd argue that's probably more than what anyone really needs to get the job done. The problem with doing too many sets is that you can tire yourself out without giving your body the stimulus it needs to understand that it's had a significant exposure to adapt from. So you want to train it intensely, but also safely. So that's when everyone has to find their own unique sort of plan. I actually recommend some custom training plans I actually offer through my coaching on carnivore-muscle.com. I'm easily to contact, so feel free to get in contact with me below with a link. And I actually go through what someone can do right now, trying to find out a way for them to progress further down the line. And honestly, looking back through 17 years, if I could train my training at all, I'd probably give some people some tips. And these probably be my top 3 things I'd suggest to people. So 1, I'd probably train more simple movements. 2, I would attract time rather than reps, because it's easier to control. And it means you have to, by default, train more safely because you know you're not rushing anything. And training's not about rushing. And 3, I'd probably say I'll be more mindful of recovery. So I wouldn't be training back-to-back days. So from those sort of 3 points, I can say, 1, I need to train things frequently enough to learn the movement. So, you're doing it safely. 2, you need to make sure that you're doing the movement in a way that's timed and carefully tracked. Therefore, things that you can measure, you can easily manage. So, my legs are sore today. I did 3 sets of squats, but they're really sore. And the next session you go to the gym, they're really sore again. You're not progressing. The weight's not going up. Your form's not getting any better. There's no improvement across the board for leg movements. Or maybe you're doing too much. So you might do 2 sets rather than 3. So you have to be mindful of things. So you should be managing and sort of tracking what you're doing ideally. The third thing, of course, goes down to the whole safety element of it. But that'd be my sort of 3 top tips for people trying to start a training session or sort of program when they add in GLP-1s.
Thank you. I am aware of some people who, because the GLP-1 maybe gives them more energy or more, they're able to sleep, for example, like I was. So then I did have more energy. And so they go to the gym and they do gyms 6 times a week. If that's not a good thing then?
I'd argue no, just because. Now let's say to me, Joe, let's say you started off a year ago with me. And as you're training the gym, your nutritionist, all this stuff, you started off at 350 pounds. You've pulled all these levers to make sure that you go to the gym 6 times per week. So automatically your effort level has gone to 10 out of 10. Yeah. Your adherence is 10 out of 10. You're pulling all the levers across the board. You'll get to your goal a bit quicker than the person doing 3 sessions per week, but you won't be able to have the adaptive response you need to the training with more muscle because you're overtraining. And the thing with training is you can't just do more and more and more and more, because it becomes a point where, let's say you're doing 6 sessions a week. Okay, great. You get to X point where you get to 300 pounds, you've lost 50 pounds in say 6 months. What do you do from then? 7 days per week, 8 days per week, 9 days per week, 2 sessions a day, 7 training sessions a week, 7 cardio sessions per week. At what point do you get to a sort of an area where you think, I cannot sustain this anymore? So using training as your main lever to get into better shape is not ideal, because if we look at, the energy output side of it and the energy input side of it, we know that about 80 to 85% of our body composition outcomes is related to our diet. But if we're, say, putting 100% into our training, but we're putting 10% into our diet, we can't marry the two. We can't offset a bad diet with training. And if you sort of leave room in the tank, so I mean, my bodybuilding off-season phase would be a good example of this, because it just shows you how same it is across the board. I mean, it's actually the goals that someone on a GLP-1 is trying to achieve and a person trying to compete in a bodybuilding show is the same. It's just to a different degree. You're using different methods, but the way you're sort of trying to go around it in principle is the same. So I start off my off-season, say November, October. I'm ramping up my training, intensity's going up, food's going up, and getting bigger, stronger, bigger, stronger. Gets to the point about here where I can only get stronger because I can't recover any faster from what I'm doing. So that's the point where you try to either try to maintain it or make small little improvements across the board, like maybe better technique, or you're going to train but you're going to try and get fitter, so you're going to do shorter rest periods, maybe 3 minutes rest between sets rather than 2, things like that. Then as you get to your contest prep phase, your food starts to go down. All you really have at that point is not to exercise more, because you've already ramped up to the peak. You got to the point where you can no longer recover any harder. So when you get to the point where you're trying to lose body fat, what you want to do is find the minimal effective dose. So earlier I sort of said about the 3 sessions per week, 10 sets per session. That's a good sort of broad template for a lot of people to follow. It can be done, it's achievable, it allows enough rest for most people, and it gives them enough frequency that can still learn the movements better. Now what they can do is, say they get to 300 pounds, they're doing 3 sessions per week. It might have taken them a month or two longer, maybe a month, but now they've got all these levers to pull. They've got to go from 300 pounds to 250 pounds. So they're only on 3 sessions per week. Okay, then we can add in a 4th session maybe. Maybe then you do 3 sessions, and say your step count on average is 4k per day. Do 3 sessions plus 5k per day. 3,000 steps over a week. Say that helps you burn extra, arbitrary number, but let's say it helps you burn an extra 100 grams of fat. Over a month, that's nearly a pound of fat. Then that gets you to your goals quicker. So you don't actually have to do much more, but you got more result. And another thing I like to point out is that people shouldn't sacrifice sleep and recovery for more training, because what I found is that people actually benefit more from spending the extra hour in bed, relaxing, not eating, not thinking about food, sleeping, recovering, than they do from adding in an hour of cardio. You're actually better off spending your time more efficiently, because I'll have to think of the actual person who came up with the study, but basically they performed different calorimetric trials on people. So they had tribes people from Africa, and had people, office workers in New York, in the big cities. They're trying to work out, okay, what point is it where they'll eat roughly the same sort of amount of total energy per day, but where is that cutoff point where they do so much that they can no longer sustain it? It actually regresses their body composition or health. And they found that, in generally speaking, your appetite will reflect the amount of cardio and activity that you do. So by doing more and more and more, once you get to that threshold amount where there's no longer health or a muscular or strength benefit, there comes an actual drop-off where your recovery capacity has to increase that much more, but only to get that much more benefit in terms of muscle size.
Oh, wow.
So there's a diminishing return. So it's actually a bell curve. So that's why the World Health Organization, not a big fan, but for what it's worth, they say 120 minutes to 150 minutes of exercise per week. And when they say exercise, they mean like going for a bike ride, going to the gym, or swimming, your heart rate's over 100 basically, or something like that. Now they don't say do 200 minutes per week. There's a reason why, because there's a threshold where people start to get left ventricular hypertrophy, which is it's a risk factor in regards to like heart disease. So the idea is you get the most benefit from the least amount, then leave enough margin for you to do more if you have to get more. Otherwise, you're just constantly doing more and more and more. By the time you get to 200 pounds, you've dropped 150 pounds, you're in the gym 20 hours per week, and you're eating nothing but lettuce. But you can't sustain that. So it effectively fuels an eating disorder. And I know a lot of people that, I can speak for this anecdotally, and people watching this may agree or may not. But next time you go to the gym, I want you to clock these people that are just doing the cardio. People that are just on there for like an hour straight. You get to the gym, they're on the cardio machine, they're on there for an hour. You leave the gym and they're still doing some sort of cardio. People that are just at it every day. Look at their physique in your mind and mentally sort of remember what they look like in your head. Now, fast forward 6 months' time, putting it in the calendar, in Google Calendar, 6 months from now, look at Steve in the gym who's doing 2 hours of cardio a day. Has his physique got better or has it not? Does he have dark eye circles? Does he look tired? Is he edgy? Is he depressed? Is he anxious?
Ooh.
Is he still spending 2 hours a day doing blimmin' cardio? Yes.
Wow.
Does he look worse? Yes. I see this commonly across the board, and it is purely anecdotal. But the thing is, you can't perform a study like this because it's so invasive. No one wants to sort of find out, oh, I've been clocked by some scientists for 6 months and they said I look worse. It could be quite mentally challenging. It's a massive risk assessment, ethics sort of issue. So you just have to look around sometimes, and sometimes the evidence is around you. Then you look at the most muscular, most built physiques in the gym. I typically find they're the most relaxed kind of people. The people that don't grump in their sets, they go to the gym, they have a method, they look at their phone or the tracker, write down what they've done. They're trying to sort of improve their technique. They're sort of, they're recording their stuff in the gym, like to send to their coach or something. And they're the people that get the best long-term results because they've got the accountability side of it. They've got the frequency side of it. They're tracking what they're doing, so they know what does and doesn't work. And then we're mindful of their recovery. So that's what I try to emphasize when it comes to the training itself.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. That was very detailed and really made sense. It really made a lot of sense.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.